What's good, YouTube? I'm Xero Zeus, and welcome back to another Fate video. This is going to be my Fate Grand Order Babylonia episode 18 review. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment. Thank you for watching, and let's get right into the video. So it's like a whole lot to talk about in this episode. A lot happened, even though in the scene it didn't seem like it was in the beginning, right? I kind of feel like it built up slowly to that fight at the end, and we're gonna talk about that. So spoilers. I don't usually say that in videos. I figure I should start saying that because I drop a whole lot of spoilers all the time. You never know. Some people might come to the review for a no spoiler review or something. I hope not. But anyway. Basically, the episode starts off the quiet before the storm. You have Gilgamesh basically talking to Mash and Ritsuka. They have these looks on their faces because of the massive loss that they just took the last episode. The last few episodes, as a matter of fact, like, don't get me wrong, they've been getting it in, but they've been taking them L's too also. So, you got to take some and give some, I guess, right? But Gilgamesh actually tells them, don't bear the weight of this on your shoulders, and don't pity them either. And I like how he said it like angrily. He was like, yeah, I will strike you down if you said anything otherwise, right? And it's just noticing what he said. It's just like, hey, Gilgamesh is a funny guy, but it was a serious moment, right? And they basically just came to the conclusion that it was nothing they could do about it. They already knew what they were marching into. He had already told them that what the outcome was going to be. But originally it was only him in Europe. He was like the last person left, I think, if I'm not mistaken. That's what he said. And it just so happening that it's like 500 people left is like a big plus compared to what he foresaw originally. And that's actually cool. So I thought that was something. And you just like, basically it just was like really moving slow. He was just talking to everybody. They were going over their plans, and they started talking about how the mud, Tiamat's legs, I was not paying attention to. Like, the way her legs are, they can't support the weight of her upper body, right? And so she's using the mud, basically, I guess, to stride through, and it keeps her afloat, right? And without it, she can basically not move. And they come up with this idea, right? They were trying to come up with an idea when Quetzalcoatl actually said she would use her noble phantasm. Like, yes. The whole time I'm thinking, I already know this is about to be hype. This is about to be super hype, right? And the stone slab that Ritsuka could have destroyed, and since he didn't destroy it, they can now use as like they can now use it to block her path, basically. I don't know if they were expecting it to stop her, or like I think they were just using it to slow her down, and it did exactly that, right? So I'm just like kind of skipping the little stuff that really didn't pay, like he had a conversation with Quetzalcoatl in the middle of the night, and they were just talking about how she wanted to be outside and not be in here, that this might be their last night in Europe, and she don't want to worry them by her presence and blase and all the other stuff. But we're gonna fast forward past all of that because the action is about to start. But before that, Gilgamesh, he has another moment. He actually gives this big speech after he gives the advice to Ritsuka and Mash. He actually gives a big speech to the remaining people in Europe, and my guy is pretty motivational. I'm not gonna lie about that. But he actually runs into Kingu, if I'm not mistaken, and Kingu's falling apart. It's like pretty much about to be over for him, and Gilgamesh basically gave him an olive branch. He put himself back together. He just, like, you could tell, like, he was confused that, like, why would he help him? And he knows that he's not Enkidu and stuff like that. And Gilgamesh, even though he's always serious, Gilgamesh is always serious. It seems like he's angrily telling him. He was definitely angrily telling him, but he was still being like a friend. He was still being helpful, and he's reaching out to him, and I thought that was kind of alright. but on to better things, like you see on the screen, right? So they're heading towards Tiamat to basically put their plan forth into action. And the Lamu, I think that's what you call them, and they are super deep. They are super deep, and it's like so many of them around. I think it's like Mash, Ritsuka, Quetzalcoatl, Ishtar, and that's pretty much everybody that they have like flying with them, right? And they're having a hard time. They're having a hard time reaching it, but it's just like Quetzalcoatl. Now we're about to get on the jock riding train, because she was savage this episode, super savage. Like she was cutting through these guys. Don't get me wrong, Ishtar and everybody else was too. And even Amaro, you know, like I guess she can make duplicates of herself, right? They can make duplicates of her, and it was so many of her at the same time, right? And it was this really hype moment. Like the fight was super hype. Like it was a lot of stuff going on. I think it was like one moment where it was kind of looking like Amaro was about to behead Mash, but you knew that wasn't gonna happen, but it was looking like it, right? And it just like it was a lot of hype situations. Benkei came back, and I think that was kind of hype. He was basically holding her back, fighting her off, giving time to the other people. Well, giving time to Quetzalcoatl, but we'll get into that in a minute. So you basically have her flying over there, and when Ushiwakamaru shows up, like I said, she just kind of brushed him to the side. She was like, we don't have no time. We don't have any time for this, right? And she just kind of brushed all those duplicates, clones, whatever you want to call them, brushed them all to the side. And she just kept going, like just beasting in this episode, cutting through the enemies. And I don't know, I just really took notice of it. I think it was really cool. So she starts to use her noble phantasm. Like it looked like it looks like a whole snack. I can't even lie about it. Like she was, you just knew it was about to go down, right? And when she first used it, right, it did what it was intended to do. Like it actually was incinerating the mud, if I'm not mistaken, and Tiamat couldn't move. She basically fell to her knees and stuff like that, right? And it's looking like things actually played in their favor, right? But actually, she like, I don't know, went through this, like she morphed or something, or either way, her horns, whatever you want. Basically, they were keeping her afloat. They started it like she could fly. They didn't know she could fly, and they were confused at the fact that she could fly and stuff like that, right? But Quetzalcoatl still wasn't done. It's like the whole time I'm like, yeah, what she just did, that was so crazy. That was so crazy, but she still wasn't done, right? So she actually finishes the noble phantasm, if I'm not mistaken, or these might be two things. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought that was pretty hype. But don't get me wrong, she was still there afterwards. The mud kind of didn't really, they got rid of the mud, but it kind of really didn't stop anything. And, you know, it was kind of looking like it was over with. They just had this big showcase of like Quetzalcoatl, Noble Phantasm. It just looked like, how do you do better than that? How do you do better than that, right? And these credits start to roll, right? And lo and behold, Gorgon shows up. She starts to emerge from the ground and stuff. And I think I mentioned this before. You know, I wasn't too sure because I haven't even made it this far in the game. But I know it was something like that. I seen some spoilers from somewhere. I seen them somewhere. But yeah, it's like it's gonna be a super hype fight next episode. Too hype to see it. Gorgon versus Tiamat. If I'm not mistaken, it like she's gonna join Mash and Ritsuka, and you know they're gonna be against. If I'm not mistaken, I might be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I'm gonna end the video right here. This was definitely a nice episode. I was definitely visually, I was super entertained. Yeah. But anyway, end it right here. This is my Fate Grand Order of Babylonia episode 18 review. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all next video.